Hello, I'm Untitled and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Minecraft 1.9, the combat update, and I'm going to be suggesting 5 ideas for it because we did just have the most recent snapshot, which means we can now look in the game, see what's in there so far. We know we've been promised a few other things that aren't in there yet, but it also means that they're the most responsive to the community, which means we can actually suggest ideas that have some validity and might actually improve the developers for the game. So that's what I'm going to be doing in today's video. Please do like the video if you do like it. It helps out the channel a lot, and let us know you do like it. And let's get straight into the video then, shall we? So let me just quickly point out the big flaw of Minecraft combat right now is that it is just, hit the other person harder. Whoever's the better sword and the better armor generally wins. You can kind of strafe, but it's mostly down to, better sword, better armor, and that's somewhat of a problem right now, if you ask me. So the first suggestion I'm going to make is kind of something to do with the armor thing, and that is the armor should weigh you down. Maybe it should all weigh you down the same, like let's say 10%. Maybe it should all weigh you down differently. Maybe, like diamond armor should weigh you down more to account for the fact that it gives you more stuff. Because, right now, having armor means if you go against someone who doesn't have armor, if yours is diamond, that means you have to hit them 5 times less than they have to hit you, and it basically means you win. I mean, it's so impossible to attack someone in that circumstance. It means there's no really sneaking to it. It's just have the better armor and you win in that case. Having no armor is just not really a choice right now, and I think it should be. I think if it weighed you down, but even something like 10%, then even, taking off your armor mid-fight to chase someone, that would be a strategy, and it means, there's whole things like getting people to sneak off their armor, or just wearing it the whole time and not catching people. There's a lot of cool stuff I reckon you could do, or maybe even just drink swiftness potions to make up for that. There's different ways you can account for it, but if armor weighed you down, then there'd at least be a choice to wear armor or not to wear it. Right now, it's wear the best armor and you'll win the fight, and that's something I think could be improved. So yeah, I reckon armor should weigh you down, maybe different for each armor, and maybe chainmail should be, exempt to give it some form of purpose. But yeah, that's what I reckon right there. The second change I'd make is also to do with the weapon bit. So right now, as I said, once you get in weapon range, it's just click the other person, they're clicking you, you usually both hit each other, and it just, lag, blah, 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 all happens, and whoever has the better sword or the better connection wins. Not such a big fan. I reckon if you have different types of weapons with different reaches, you can really add kind of a layer to that. So let's say you have a halberd, which has a longer reach. If you're wondering, a halberd's like a super long sword. It's almost like a spear. Just call it a spear for now. If you have a spear or a halberd, you could actually have a longer reach than other people, but this could do less damage. So you can really just poke them and get them to death that way, and, all they have to do is get around you, or maybe they just retreat because they don't want to do that. But as long as you balance it correctly, you could make it so the halberd's only really practical to poke them away, then you have to switch to something else. But you could also go the opposite way of this. You could be like, okay, so we'll keep the regular sword, and then we'll have a dagger. If you can get extra close to someone, because right now if you're inside each other and people, it still doesn't really help you out too much. You could have a dagger which goes straight through their armor, for instance, or just does extra damage, and that way it'd be like, oh yeah, switch out to the dagger when you get really close, or maybe, will be about keep them at range so they can't dagger you. It'd mean there'd be something more to think about than, click, 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 click. So yeah, daggers, halberds, any form of, different sort of range combat would really help that out, because right now it's sword or arrow or neither. I mean, it's kind of a shame, but that is really what it weighs down to, and I think more of that could be better. So my next idea is going to be new enchantments. This is also designed to mix up your strategies, because, again, right now, it's all about just, once you're low on health, you would retreat, and you usually don't get away with it. We could make some new enchantments that make the strategy you're going in with a bit more interesting, and makes it so you have to consider the opponent's strategy. So let's say, for example, one I've seen in a lot of games is that if the less health you have, the more damage you deal. So this could give you a lower, damage to start with, but it could mean that you look like you're low on health, and that's when you're really doing the most. Obviously, this would have to be balanced. Again, this stuff could be awful if you're just one-hitting them when you get down to low health, but it means that there might be some strategy in going into the battlefield with low health, even though you'll die in, like 2 hits, let's say. You might be able to kill people a lot faster than that, and, you could do a whole bunch of cool strategy stuff with this, and that could just be a cool enchantment that works that way. Alternatively, you could have the opposite, where if you're at full health, you do more damage, so you want to keep yourself there, you keep eating golden apples just to stay there, even if it means you have to go out of combat for a second. You could do a bunch of cool things with new enchantments, and if you just make them alter the playstyle of the people, I reckon you could have more fun that way. My next idea is actually going to be changing the way, it's going to be one that really has been needed, because we haven't had a new or like a new type of, I guess we should say a new type of weapon and armor in ever, really. It's just always been the ones we've had right now. So I reckon let's bring in a new one. I mean, it's the combat update. This is the best time to do it. And whatever you end up calling it, let's call it Mithrolite. Let's call it Adamantium. Let's not make it more powerful than Diamond. That's not necessary in the current game. What we could do, though, is we could, give it different attributes. So let's say it's slightly weaker than Diamond, but it gives you the absorption effect that golden apples give you, but for free. That could be something cool. Let's say that if we do introduce the armor weighing you down thing, this armor doesn't weigh you down. Or maybe this armor actually gives you a slight speed boost. It gives you like a 5% speed boost. So if you're wearing this, you're actually going to catch people, even though it's worse than iron, let's say. You can do a whole bunch of different things with different attributes, not just make it stronger. Make it a choice. Make it like, do I want adamantium armor or do I want the diamond one? I've got to decide. And I think doing that, you can do some cool things. Alternatively, if you just want to make OP armor that's just broken, then you could just make like, I know, obsidian armor, which, you know, is like 90% protection from damage instead of 80%. Obviously, you'd have to change the way the armor mechanic works, but still, it's something you could do. Obsidian armor, make it weigh you down to all hell, or maybe just, you know, make it not, and make it crazy OP. I don't know, that's just an idea. But I reckon some form of new weapon armor type would be needed, just to kind of, you know, really make the game feel that little bit more fleshed out. Because like I said, it's been the same for so long. It's always just been, get your diamond tools, enchant them. That improves the solo game and the multiplayer game. So yes, I would say a new weapon/armor type, definitely useful. Finally, I'm going to suggest, because we do know shields are coming, to actually play around shields, and even just to make combat a little bit more fun, there should be different types of sword swipes, and I don't know how you decide these, but I guess they should be based on which way you're moving. So if you're strafing to the right, maybe you should do like a side swipe. If you're going forwards, maybe you should do like a full-on charge like we do right now. And if you're going backwards, maybe you should do like a retreating block. I reckon by doing, you know, different types of sword swipes in different ways, you can make it so people are trying to work out how to avoid the enemy shield and really get a decent bit of shield play going on there. So again, anything that adds more skill and more fun to the game is cool, and I reckon different ways to attack would be fun in both single player and multiplayer. So yeah, this is all for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did like it, please do like it and let me know. Share if you really liked it, and leave a comment down below if you have any ideas as to what you think would improve this next update. And yeah, I'd be really curious to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos like this every single day on my channel, and I'll see you all in the next video.